¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo están, amigos?
Today we're going to be talking about a topic in the news. Gina Carano is fired for a tweet from The Mandalorian. Disney said no.
We're gonna get canceled too. That's alright. We got nothing to get canceled.
You don't know what's in my background, so you don't know that I'm not Mexican. And
Yeah,
you don't know that I was doing a Mexican accent. I could have been doing Puerto Rican, but poorly. You don't know.
You just confirmed it.
No, I didn't. Nope.
We've got a controversial opinion. Disney can fire anybody. They're a private company. They have the right to fire anybody for any reason. I don't have a problem with that. But they just have to apply that rule across the board.
And they haven't. In case you don't watch the news, I don't know why you're watching this video then, but Gina Carano was a supporting character in The Mandalorian, and recently she tweeted something that got her fired from Disney. And she found out from a tweet. She found out from Disney's Twitter. I don't think that they fired her based on their political views. I think they fired her based on money. I think she affected their dollar.
Or they thought that she would.
If they really thought that Letitia Wright would affect their dollar, they'd have fired her. Absolutely, without a doubt.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that anymore. I would normally think that that's the bottom line is money.
But with Gina Carano, she's just white, so there's no potential backlash to them firing her.
Leave
Gina Carano
alone.
Politics and money are deeply connected. So some decisions on the surface I feel like look like a political decision, but are really a financial decision.
I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think as of recently, and I'm sure it's not as of, I don't think it's only now, but look at all the big media companies and all that. The leaders are all of a certain political side, generally, right? And so they can lose a little bit of money in order to represent what they want to represent. They can. So I'm not ruling that out. I think you're probably right. They can't say that they would lose money because somebody held like a right-leaning view, because half the country is right. Half the country is left. So,
and that's proven by every election where it's split it's close.
Pretty close, yeah. So I can't say that they would lose money because they are such a powerful thing, and they're going to get their money no matter what, But I don't know. Maybe they thought that, but I definitely think it helps. Like that would be more true if they fired across the board.
It's kind of a scary world that you could express an opinion online and lose your job over it.
That was light mental abuse. And we all know that light mental abuse is worse than any physical abuse. I'd rather be murdered. Are you laughing at my struggles? I can't believe it.
But at the same time, that's a business, that's a private entity, and they're allowed to fire whoever they want. So that's not what's scary to me. And not necessarily that it's scary, right?
It's part of the business.
It's part of the business. You can get fired for anything at any job, really. What's concerning to me is that the views expressed online by other people can affect your employment. I can't believe that you wanted a Whitey to be a leading cast member in your #1 series streaming on your platform.
Well, I'm under duress from the blacks, okay? And I haven't folded. I haven't gotten them canceled. We've been so nice to the blacks all times.
Well, stop hosting Nazi champagne parties where you guys just drink and talk about hate.
White is right, okay? And when you get all the whites in the same room, genius comes out of there. We can't say that. We can't say that.
Under duress.
Yeah, I mean, the solution is, if you don't support the people behind the movie or the show or the production, just don't pay to see it.
Yeah.
That's the key. That's how you solve problems here.
Okay.
So you're just explaining a correlation to the beginning of the Holocaust and the beginning of what's going on now. All this division that we have.
And I'll read it, okay? Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Of course, they were beaten by Nazi soldiers as well, but for her point, for this tweet, she's only looking at the neighbors. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews. The government first made their own neighbors hate them, simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? Now, the picture in there is a Jewish woman who's been beaten, and she's running not from Nazi soldiers, but by her neighbors, as indicated in the tweet. And the latter portion is put in quotes. I don't know who she's quoting, if she's actually quoting anyone. John, what do you think about the tweet?
I don't think she's wrong. She's.
Well, what's her sentiment? That's
Yeah.
her tweet. The news and people online took it as her comparing herself as a conservative in America to Jews during the Holocaust. That's what the media has taken away from. What do you take away from it?
I think she was comparing the beginning of the Holocaust versus the beginning where we're at now in the division in our political parties, our division as a society. I think in that sense it's fair. She didn't say that we're in the Holocaust. Like you were alluding to earlier, you don't think it's going to get that far. I don't think it'll get that far either, but I think that our political system is very fragile, and it might not take 5 years, might not take one election, but if you string a couple elections in the wrong way, it can be taken down.
This received a lot of attention online, massive attention. It's her fault because she used evocative imagery and evocative words. Everyone in this country knows if you bring up the Holocaust, if you bring up Nazis, if you bring up how Jews were treated in Nazi Germany prior to World War II and during, it's gonna trigger people. So she went for a trigger. Okay, so she knew what was gonna happen when she posted that.
Trigger.
She triggered people. People are triggered by that imagery.
I just hate the word trigger. I just hate it. You being triggered triggers me. How about that? No!
I don't think the takeaway is she thinks she's in the same position as a Jew in Nazi Germany. I think that's a stretch. That's not what she was going for.
No!
Although she didn't give us the call to action at the end. So if she wanted her tweet to be better understood, she should have ended it with something like, I'm not saying that conservatives are in the exact position as Jews in Nazi Germany. I'm just saying that there's a divide, and the government, I feel, and the news is turning our neighbors against us. And we're not having conversations. We're at the point where we're at each other's throats every time someone opens their mouth. Oh, okay, well, that's the takeaway then. She should have had an ending to the tweet. So she left it open-ended, and people ended it for her, and they gave it a terrible ending.
But if she does that, then we're not going to get the reaction. She honestly still probably would have gotten a reaction out of it. But it wouldn't have been the same it wouldn't have exploded the way it has.
Yeah.
And I bet in her point of view, that was partially a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, she's going to be fine. She'll be okay, at least for now. And regardless, if she never did a movie again, she'd be fine. I'm sure of it. But she knew that going into this. She knew that when she became an actor. She knew that when she tweeted those things out. Because this wasn't the first tweet she got flack from. This is, I think, her third one that she really got flack from. So she knew what she was doing.
Yeah, I mean...
And she was okay with it.
The craziest thing is people don't recognize the irony of the situation. You're being ironic by trying to get her fired. Because it's exactly what she's saying. She's saying that we can't have conversations. We can't have civil conversations. It's always about attacking each other. And what did people do when she put out the tweet? They attacked her.
I think that's a huge point. I think that's might be the biggest point out of all this.
I mean, it's like, come on.
A lot to blame is the news, the media. If you watch Fox 8, Fox 8 makes every conservative feel like every liberal is extreme. There are no people in the middle. There's only extremists, and they all hate you. And then if you watch left-wing media, liberal media, they do the exact same thing. They make you think that every Republican hates you. Every Republican, because they're Republican and the values of the Republican Party, that they are racist. So if you're black, you really should hate them. You should be afraid of them. You should want every Republican to change their political views because their political views inherently are racist. It's crazy, and that's just not the case.
They make left media makes every conservative out to have an accent. They all talk like this.
They're all socialists and they're all stupid. They're uneducated, even though if they go to college, they're still stupid. They're stupid college kids.
And now listen, there's truth in all of those points. There's truth in both sides, but it's not everybody. It's truth. Because those stereotypes wouldn't have happened if it wasn't true. So there's a nugget of truth in there. But just like in any comedy thing, there's always a nugget of truth in it, no matter how absurd it is. But it's a nugget, and that's it. It's just a nugget.
Either way, we're training each other to hate each other. And the point of her tweet was that we shouldn't.
And we don't give an F, okay, about Gina Carano. She could have whatever views she wants. They won't lose a dime because of it. Because just like, the left might stop watching it, more right people might watch it.
Here's the real issue that no one's talking about is Gina Carano is a terrible actress. Why does she have a leading role in a TV show?
Fine. She's fine. She's fine.
Exactly. In TV, you don't have to be anything better than fine. In fact, if you're great and you're on TV, it's a little too much. It kind of stands out.
Well, she got it because of her look.
No, she got it from
ripped.
Because she's an MMA fighter.
Right. She's jacked, dude. And she knows how to do all of the choreography, all that stuff.
Yeah, dude. But she can't act. If you watch this movie Haywire, dude, she's terrible.
Yeah, but neither can John Cena. Somehow he gets movies.
John Cena can sell comedy at least.
I mean, now, after he's done it for 25 years, there's no way he should have gotten the chances he got, is all I'm saying.
Well, he's ripped just like Gina.
I'm using your logic. I'm fine with him getting
But
those
I
roles.
hate your opinion. You should be fired. Don't disagree with me, as if you do, I'll get you fired. I don't like that.
I mean, even The Rock didn't have acting ability when he first started. Bottom line is, she knew she's an actor. She got in this business knowing that could be an issue. She did it. A company exercised their right to fire her, which is fine. But again, we don't think that was, justified enough if we're looking at it from an even playing field perspective. It just wasn't, I don't know.
I'm fine with the whole thing. I think she should have been fired.
Gives you an opportunity to get a role somewhere.
I just gotta grow some tits and some muscles. No, wait. She doesn't have tits.
Title, please.
Alright, now we're fired.
We all know that light mental abuse is worse than any physical abuse. I'd rather be murdered.
Leave Britney Spears alone right now! I mean it. Anyone who has a problem with her, you deal with me.